Hello and welcome to one of my vlogs. So in this video, um, I'm going to be sharing now that I'm making a weekly commitment to at least once a week to do a video where I'm applying what I'm calling like 200% effort or maximum effort, because I see this like a muscle where the more I speak in this way, which involves a level of intensity with my entire body, where in my entire body I can see now when I'm looking inside my body that it's a more intense and more it's like my entire body is involved within my communication and speaking, which of course reflects in my voice, but it's not just my voice muscles, it's my entire body that I am like activating or using. And my body, its movement is through muscles, is through that movement. And that is something that can be built and strengthened, and the more and more as one does it consistently. And so the idea is, as I keep doing this regularly, at least once a week, do a vlog like this, um, that I'll be able to then do this for longer and also more comfortably, where it won't require as much effort to produce the same result, because it is like a muscle, something that you build and you work with and you apply, and the more you do it, the stronger you get, the easier it is, and the more longer you can do it, and the better you are at it. So that's the idea. So in the future, whether I do a vlog or whether I make a speech or presentation or whatever situation where me speaking and my using my entire body within that and putting my effort in there fully, I can do that easily. Whether it's in a work context, like a presentation, or some other context, but it involves speaking and sharing, and everyone's eyes are on me, and I'm here to do my absolute best and put all of my effort into that. So that's what I'm doing, and right now it's about a few minutes into the vlog, and now I'm gonna be just speaking about one topic. So that's my announcement, and now this is my topic. So it's just a very simple point, something that I've already walked and lived. How within the process of change that I apply within Desteni, which includes the tools of self-forgiveness and writing and introspection, looking into myself, one very important keyword that really makes a difference for me, where if I didn't have this word, it wouldn't be the same. And that word is understanding, which is very similar to realization, because when you realize something about yourself, you understand something about yourself. You are looking at your points, your pattern, your history, and you understand that, for example, you felt very positive and happy in this one moment, and that energy of positivity is attached to this next moment of anger, of lashing out, because that energy is connected to the anger. From positivity to anger, let's say it was excitement. You get really excited about something, and that easily goes into anger. And that relationship between those 2 points, understanding that, allows me to change. So whatever point it is, it's almost like you want to think about mathematics or grids or geometry, where you have like a triangle. You have 3 points. Those 3 points form a relationship. And so you have this entire structure, let's say, like, imagine like 100 points here all connected, and they all form together like a grid. That's how I see process, where I'm just understanding that grid. I'm understanding those points, individual points, that together form the structure, which is my mind, myself, my history, my actions, my habits, my everything, reactions. Understanding that allows me to then, in the future moments, in this moment here, to then walk a trigger, a context, an environment, something that I was reacting to, and be able to change it. Because I understand the structure now, understand the history of myself, how I'm built, how I've built myself through time. And I use my memories, my history as a cross-reference to show that, okay, this pattern, I've acted this same way in this structure of moving, let's say, positive to anger, in this context, in this context, in this context, in this memory, in this memory, in this memory, in this past moment, this past moment, in past moment, in different time periods of my life. That shows to me that, okay, there's something here. I understand how it's happening, because Destiny very clearly explains the nature of the mind, which is very simple. How the more energy you generate feeds your systems, and those systems will form different relationships, and it's mostly divided at this point of positive and negative. There are some neutral experiences, but regardless, energy is what feeds the system. It's the lifeblood of the system. And within that, there are layers and layers and layers that go deeper and deeper and deeper into yourself that you're not fully aware of, that encompasses your actions, your behaviors, how you speak, even all these different points that come together that form the structure that is you, as how you know yourself and how you react. And through self-forgiveness, and forgiving the thoughts, and forgiving the systems, and forgiving the behavior, and forgiving all the different points that come together to form you, that's how you really release yourself. Through that understanding and that moment of, I understand, I embrace my responsibility, I embrace that this is me, and as me, as part of me having to stand up because I am responsible, I'm changing this now, as me. So it's a transformation from what you were into something new, which is still you. It's just taking what is here, that is you, and just shifting it around, molding it differently. Because you still have your body, you still have yourself here. It's just changing the rules of how you're going to act, changing the relationships of how you act, and the relationship between the points. And that's what transformation is. That's what process is. That's what we're doing through process. That process of change, through understanding, through taking responsibility, through embracing, through becoming something that's new and something different. Yet it's still you. You know? So it's not like you're completely going away as a person. You are transforming yourself. You are being a creator, shaper, molder, shifting. You're playing with that. So that understanding, that is how I walk my process, where if I notice like something is weird within me, like I feel kind of weird, or how I'm acting is a little bit different, I get like, a suspicion. So then I start asking questions, and I start looking at the point, I start investigating very thoroughly, very structurally, and very like an investigator, a detective, to really find out what is going on within me. And so I take any clues, any hints available, I write them down, I look at them as a whole, I look at the points I already have known that I've been practicing for many, many years to do. Check the energies. Is it positive or is it negative? What is the name of the emotion or feeling? Are there any thoughts? Are there any images popping up? Are there any backshots? Any words that are coming up? Is there anything that's been repeating? What is the triggers for all these different points? What is the context? What is the situation? Are there any memories I've had where I felt the exact same way, or had the same thought, had the same kind of experience, where I can kind of look at it as a whole, see kind of like how it tastes within me, in my body, what's the sensation of it as an entire whole? Where else have I lived like this or felt like this? And I can just look. I have that trust where, okay, I have this feeling. Where else in my life? And allow myself to open up and just look unconditionally in my history, my past. I look at things that I've known to react, or things that are patterns of human behavior that are generally out there that I've already studied, whether it's through other blogs or vlogs from other Destonians, or whether it's through Eqafe interviews, or whether it's through kind of like the basic understanding of how positive and negative energies play together and work together. So if I find that I'm within a positive point, I ask, okay, what is the negative point? And I understand the relationship where positive is very reinforcing and negative is very like trying to run away. And I understand that we're addicted to energy no matter what. So even energy as negative energy is also addictive as well. And I have a history of understanding and seeing when it's an addiction, when it's something that is like a feeling that I want to do that, I want to repeat that. I know what it feels like when I want to go somewhere. I know what it's like when I want to run away from something. So I have all these different things that I've done for many years now and investigating in very different points that I have that history, that toolbox, that tool belt that allows me to then work with a point that is a here for me to look at. And then I do this whole process, this whole dissection of the point. And yes, I'll go through a lot of points, I'll write a lot of things, and then, okay, I haven't fully understood it yet. Then what I can do is go through self-forgiveness to help me go deeper. Because doing the self-forgiveness and releasing what I know already should be released. The energies, the thoughts, the positive energy, negative energy, any judgment, any backchat, anything that's from that mind as a system that is moving independent of my self-direction, of me being the creator and me living actively here in the moment. Because the mind, when the mind is activated, I am reliving the past. I am acting on something that's a program that's already set in motion as like a living memory of the past that's just going. So I do that forgiveness, I say the words in specificity, forgiving the points as it exists, and that allows me to look deeper. And sometimes what happens is I do go to a point where I just see I need a break. And I do things like, let's say it's the end of the day, I already did all I could, I'm going to call it for that day. And then I go to sleep. The next day in the morning, very often, assuming I have the time, I kind of like wake up, I'm fresh, and even as I'm laying in bed, I remember the points that I've looked at so far. I remember everything I've gathered so far. And there's that moments where it's like, it's the morning, it's fresh, it's a new day, and I look unconditionally at the points, and I tend to be able to very openly let kind of like the realizations emerge here, where it's like, I'm here, I'm looking at the points, what I've lived, I see what would I like to live, what would be best for all, what is it that I'm not understanding, or even kind of remembering in my history, my past, all the moments that I've lived, and it kind of just flows very easily. And it's the same, very similar to a process where when I'm doing these kind of investigations and I get like kind of stuck, another tool that I support myself with is simply taking a hot bath, where within that, being in the water and just relaxing and kind of like letting myself go and just like open up gives me like a new perspective and be able to go into my memories, my past, go into the patterns and see what emerges as what I've already lived. And more often than not, there's something that helps me then either a fuller realization of what's going on, or maybe just a few more clues or a few more hints, a new direction for me to look into. And it's kind of like all these different ways of simply using that part of myself that's very intuitive, very relaxed, very open, very letting go, and very using my memory, allowing myself to experience the emotions and feelings from my past and what I've lived, and let that open up and see what arises, opens in the moment. And of course, there are other ways that I've used as different tools, and I'm even discovering new ways. And where even recently, within using someone else, people that I've gotten close to, and using their presence to support me in looking at a point. Even something like that, which is something that I just knew would have supported me. I have that level of intuition that, okay, and also just a willingness to try, like, okay, let me try this. But it's also like, I do allow myself to move with intuition, to move with like a kind of trust and a knowing that, okay, let me try this, let me try that. And with the tools, with forgiveness, there's nothing I cannot face and try and just try to do. Because it's okay to mess up, it's okay to make mistakes. And so it's through these process points, through understanding, through giving myself unconditionally the time and the space to work with myself, and doing it as the points are here, not leaving it for later, as well as having the patience, because there are some things which takes years to really fully allow yourself to let go, because you have to go through physical processes, you have to go through things in your life, you have to have experiences sometimes, and you have to be able even just to work on individual points along the way before you finally fully, let's say, change, because process is also very gradual as well. It's not simply always changing one moment. If it's something more simple, I suppose, yes, you do change in moments, you have that part of the process. You have that part of the process where you do stand up in the physical and say no, and you do change. That is very important to have. But in addition to that, it's also the point of simply being gradual, where as you stand up in individual moments, that adds up to the bigger picture. That adds up to the point of a greater system, a greater thing that you've been living in various different aspects of your life. So it's not always so clear-cut and dry. It is a mixture, it's a combination of things. And that's how this world is built, through individual points leading up to a greater structure based on those points. And so the same thing with ourselves and how we've lived. And even with things you want to create in your life, you have to start in the individual points, in the moments. And if you want to create something in your life, whether it's a career or a job or business, you start with individual points. You make sure those points are secure foundations with which you build your life upon. You put your maximum effort in your points, and then you can trust those points. They're stable and they're sturdy, and you can build off of it. And you go further, and you have that level of trust. This is just how life is like. This is what living is like. This is what this reality is like. This physical world. Very structured, very practical, and very supportive. If you embrace the moment and having the patience and having the commitment and perseverance and the willingness to forgive and let go and learn and change as whatever is needed for what's best for all. Okay, so this is my video for this week. I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.